I assume Adam will be here.
Later.
Welcome to the IMU Board of Trustees meeting for December 8th, 2025. We now call to order at 5:30. Roll call.
Selgrave.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Voights. Craven.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. Anyone for public comment? Doesn't look like it. Need a first and second motion to approve the consent agenda.
So moved. Second.
Approval of claims. Approval of minutes of the prior meetings. Resolution approving payment application number 2 for Morris Enterprise. Q3 write-offs. October 2025 financial report. Any other items for discussion? Roll call.
Selgrave.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Craven.
Yes.
Thank you.
Electric utility action items. Need a first and second motion to approve the resolution approving bid for a truck for the electric department.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, we just took bids. This truck will be used for locating purposes, getting around town instead of using one of our smaller bucket trucks. Be a lot more fuel efficient, be a lot easier to get around as many locates as we do.
All right. Roll call.
Selgrave.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Craven.
Yes.
Thank you.
It really does take 13 weeks from the delivery.
I have the 90. It said 90 days on this one. The variation was pretty big.
Well, we used to have that, but I thought we were getting better about it.
Well, I don't know what to do. What I've been told is Chevy's getting ready to do a retool, and so that some of these, there's a big push. And I know Carl's in particular, who we are going with, said they had 40 of them on order and they were all sold. So, of just the Colorados.
Yeah, that's the popular one.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Thought they were getting better. Until we were ready to buy.
Welcome.
Electric utility informational items.
Yeah, so we've got several projects we're trying to get done with the weather. I just thought we were going to get a little bit of decent weather here somewhere, and it's just really not happening. So we're trying to sneak it in. Just a lot of developers, projects, we got it finished, and we're getting through to get done. And then we've been doing some testing on a solar project with our tying our metering and with the SCADA system. We're working on that currently right now. Hopefully we should have that wrapped up roughly by tomorrow. Also starting tomorrow, we'll be doing some more testing on Turbine 8. Looking on we'll all be here, we'll work on that. Hopefully we'll, like I say, we've been trying to get that scheduled in here and trying with the water injection and not worrying about freezing. We thought we had a few more days in here. We got one for sure tomorrow, but we'll have to really pay close attention and blow the water out after each run when we do that here over the next few days.
The forecast for Wednesday supposed to be better too.
Wednesday was supposed to be really nice, but by like 7 o'clock, the high I think is at midnight.
Oh, they've changed it.
And then it drops. Like 30, I think
So
when
you really
we
do.
get here, it's like 30 or 31 when we get here in
window.
the morning.
Windy.
Yeah, and then windy. Also, while we're here, we're taking advantage because in between each of those runs are like a 2-hour test run that they'll have to do. So we're going to take those mechanics that are on site. They're going to do some inspections, some preventive maintenance inspections on Turbine 7 while we're here. So take advantage of that. And then the only other thing I have is I know it was put out, kind of explain the meeting for December 29th. That's our East Iowa substation where we're going to put we've already got the breakers and the switches have been on order for quite a while. We're getting close now with those arriving. We just want to make sure we've got 4 weeks in there for them to bid it, but we also want to make sure we have an actual meeting where we're going to have a public hearing. So the 29th kind of fit in there.
So that is the public hearing, is the 29th?
No, the 29th, we
Set
just
it there.
set it so we can set it and so we can go out for bid.
Okay.
Public hearing would be in February.
Yeah, so just, it should be a quick meeting, it's just, the formality of setting the public hearing, so.
So Monica, did you set the 2 o'clock
Yeah,
time?
I'm gonna set that 2 o'clock time period now that I've got quorum for that, so you will be getting an invite for that tomorrow.
That's it.
Water utility action items. Need a first and second motion to approve the resolution approving certificate of completion for East Third Water Main Improvements Project.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Nope, just the final to complete the project out.
Okay. Roll call.
Selgrade,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Voight,
Yes.
Craven.
Yes.
Thank you.
Water utility informational items.
Yeah, we're just full swing winter maintenance now. Weather kind of turned. We're hoping to get a couple concrete pourbacks done, but unfortunately that's not gonna happen. Continuing with our meter change out, and then hopefully here the next meeting we'll have the next big main project finalized with the engineers and get the public hearing and all that stuff set so we can get that out for bid. Hopefully the first of the year.
Anything else? Alright. I saw we did have a water main, but the guys got on it pretty good.
Yeah, we've had a couple here in the last week, but unfortunately they've all been in the concrete, so we're.
Fun. Alright. Communications utility action items. Need a first and second motion to approve the resolution authorizing a 5-year agreement with Innovative Systems.
So moved.
Second.
Yeah, this is just the quote and agreement with Innovative to provide the TV system that we're switching to. So we get it approved tonight. We'll go ahead and get it ordered. Should have equipment in January. That gives us 180 days before we start having to pay subscriber costs, which lines up pretty good with our June-July timeline. So.
And how about that equipment? Is it available?
Yeah, last time I looked, they had some on the shelf, so I think it'll deliver fairly quickly. So yeah. So.
Roll call?
Selgrade,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Voight,
Yes.
Craven.
Yes.
Thank you.
Need a first and second motion to approve the resolution authorizing a 5-year agreement with Orion.
So moved. Second.
Discussion.
Yeah, and this is then just since we've got the Innovative part in place, this is the agreement with Orion to provide the signals. We won't actually start having to pay on this until later this summer, but we need to get this in place so we can start doing our transport agreements, so.
Roll call?
Selgrade,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Voight,
Yes.
Craven.
Yes.
Thank you.
Communications utility informational items.
Yeah, I'm kinda like Mike and Justin as well. We could use another week or two of decent weather, but we didn't get it, so. Temps are going on the ground right now, and trying to keep ahead of stuff. We're booked out pretty much for the rest of December through the holidays, so, which is good, but everything just kinda slows down this time of year, and, got people on vacation. We actually had a meeting on Friday and realized that would be the last time everybody would be there until after the first of the year. So just a little short staff, but we'll get through it. But good news is, installs are still coming in and still getting them done.
So what's going on with this whole Apple thing?
Apple was a content server north of us, upstream of us. That was up, but it wasn't functioning correctly. It's nothing we have control over. So the server itself looked like it was up, so traffic was still routing to it. Unfortunately, when traffic got there, it just died. So we put in a ticket on Sunday with Apple, and Apple finally tracked it down where it was, took it out of the
So we had
loop.
to notify them of the
Yeah, we had
issue.
notified them. So we went up the stream. We saw it here, and that's what we thought it was. We reached out to CFU. CFU was seeing the same thing. They then reached out to Apple, and we just kind of kept working our way up till we found which
Do you
the
know
cache server.
when the problem began?
The reports we were getting, we sounded like maybe on Saturday, is where it started to flake out, and then Sunday it kind of really like went kaput. So, and then they got it offline or rerouted around this morning about 8:30. So yeah.
So they seem pretty responsive.
Yeah, they're pretty good. The biggest thing is just trying to figure out which cache server it was that was causing the problems. But my guess too is it just wasn't IMU and CFU. I'm guessing there was others reporting in too, so. And then just being the weekend, probably just took them a little bit to get it out a little bit, so, but, yeah.
All right. Combined electric, water, and communications action items. A discussion and direction on the fiscal year 2027 capital budget.
All right, I'll turn this over to the individual parties, but again, just want to commend everyone for another budget, or good capital budget. I think it, across the board, they all tick a lot of the marks that we need. I think we've got good consistency and in case like water where we're increasing, good trajectory, stuff that we can work around and plan around. The only significant, generally they follow last year's 5-year capital improvement plan for this year. The only addition and maybe kind of surprise that evolved since last year is the need or the increased need for us to move to an AMI metering system quicker than we expected. In the past, that was starting to show up on that 5-year, and that was going to be a 5-year plan. Some of our system providers put kind of hard deadlines on there, and that caused us to move it up. You will see, like in the instance of the water department, we are spending down some of the past couple of years worth of reserve increases. We had some projects that didn't go through and stuff like that. They did end up in fund balance. We are spending them down this year, on projects, and the most significant change being that AMI project that's impacting water the most or the hardest.
So when is the end of life of that?
Was 28. And since this will probably take a couple years to spin up, it is good time. That's why I think this got moved kind of to the front of the line. We got that 28 date, but this is something that we want to do in a little bit of phases. It's tough administratively just to flip the switch, and so there will be a couple of parallels and transitions and working stuff together. But when we know it's inevitable, might as well get started as soon as possible. Having said that, I'll toss it down. Justin, you want to kind of start and talk specifics of yours, and I'll jump in as needed.
Yeah, sure. So I guess I'll just start at the top. For vehicle wise, we are in the need of getting a skid loader. Just with our parkings and stuff, trying to get those leveled out with the backhoes, it's doable, but we end up tearing up more turf than we need to. And to the line of that too, so I have skid steer and attachments. So we'd like to get a skid steer with a breaker on it, because now if we have to do concrete, we have to bring both backhoes up there. And then when we need rock, we have to take the backhoe back down and load up. So if we have, since everything up there, and then we can just leave the backhoe down there to fill with rock. So that's that. And then depending on how those numbers come in, I do have a track excavator on there, which probably won't happen just to numbers, but with more and more going in the ground, a smaller piece of equipment would be nice in some of those tight areas. And then for plant maintenance and tower, that 200.
So Justin, that's
Yes.
the 200,000, that's for both of those.
So that will start with a skid steer attachments, and then we'll have to get a trailer for it. And I'm not for sure what those numbers exactly will be, so I just threw that track excavator on there just in case we did get numbers.
But that 200,000 covers both the skid steer and attachments and the track excavator.
Potentially.
But it'll do the skid steer attachments and trailer for sure, potentially the track excavator.
Okay.
Then down to the plant tower and maintenance, that 200,000, that is just to keep upgrading equipment at the plant. That's valves, actuators, and stuff that are still the original. So I'm trying to replace those as we can, and more of just kind of a security blanket for if we have a drive or something go out on us, the money's there. And then that 175,000, that would be to clean both of our underground tanks at the plant. They were last done in I want to say it was 2008. So it's about every 10 years that those need to be done. So we were going to go ahead and just get those cleaned out. Scuba divers come in and vacuum them and clean and inspect them and then give us a report on that. Then down to the well maintenance. That again is just that 30,000, kind of a blanket for any of our smaller pumps or equipment that runs the pumps.
Justin, there was talk at some point of potentially needing an additional well at some point in the future. I didn't see that listed here. Is that something that needs to be on this at like some point, or is that?
It's something that's
not a bigger thing that's out there that.
Yeah, it's out there. I would say our biggest. So our well capacity, we have plenty. I'm not gonna say plenty. We have the capacity. So you'll see on 29, 30, 30, and 31. We threw a number in there. I think a water tower will probably be ahead of a well, just as the city keeps growing and more capacity. And into that effect, you know, if we do get a big investor in here or something like that, we'll need more water capacity. So I think that'll come before.
A water tower well?
Yep.
Yeah, and in all, we have it on there, but it's just, and I don't know the front. It's what you'll see is not just the water tower purchase, but probably debt service on there.
Yeah.
The water tower and well are large enough ticket that is kind of, as I've been talking with Mike Maloney, that'll likely be our next planned borrowing. So
And
that's
does that
still a few
include
years
land
out.
as well, or I can't remember if we have land.
We do not have any land.
We don't,
So,
yeah.
There's been a couple different, nothing's come about it, but a couple different developments that have inquired within the city, and I've responded to both of them with, if this goes in, we would potentially be looking at buying a piece of property off of this development. So hopefully we can work something out with that.
And then would that go in the debt then, or we would pay for that separately?
In all likelihood, yeah, as a single debt type of. Now, if there was a development that was too good to be true, cutting us a deal on some land, would we potentially, get that land first or make some arrangements? Possibly, but I would expect us to kind of view that all as one big project and borrow for everything, the purchase, the land, get everything going all at once.
We can't put a well right there.
Or a water tower.
Tower, is what he said, yeah.
And then, so valve and hydrant replacement, that's just kind of stay steady throughout the year. And then down to the big ones would be water main projects. The city projects I have on there.
Hey, Justin, I'm
Yes.
sorry to interrupt you. You're moving on, but I'm still back thinking about the well and the water tower. I hear what you're saying, Chris, that those would be funded by debt. And I get that, and I don't disagree with that. I just think that's important for us to be thinking about, and so I guess I would encourage, I would say don't exclude that from this list, even though it's gonna be funded by debt.
Okay.
I would encourage that.
We
Make
make some
it
sort of-
very clear that it would be funded by debt. I'm fine with that being listed on here. But I would say make it clear that those projects we need to be thinking about those. So put them on paper is I guess what I'm saying.
Perfect, yeah, we
I
can
think
make
your
that
point is well
change.
made. It's strategic.
Yeah.
And you need people to know that you're thinking about those kinds of things as we're planning through.
Do we know where it would be? Or you have the land cost on there, but.
I don't have a specific spot.
Do we have a direction? That's more important.
North, south, east, or west?
Well, doesn't it depend on what transpires as far as development?
Yeah, so this is my guess, but my assumption is that the west side of town is gonna start growing. So that would be,
Likely.
yeah, likely spot for it, yes.
Yeah, I would say the west, just, don't want to talk about some potential agreements that we're discussing, but there may be a, somewhat sudden need, if some of our discussions go through on the west side, for a couple of reasons, but, big growth in any of the other could adjust that a little bit.
There's been a lot of talk, so it'd just be nice to see something happen before we make a decision to do something, in my opinion. I mean, look at all the conversation about what's gonna go out north and it's really been stalled.
Yeah, and that's, again, why, like to Adam's point, it needs to be honored, but that's why it's kind of, I'm not gonna say on the back burner, but at least that's.
It's elusive.
Yeah, 'cause I don't know what, and the problem is we don't wanna put up a tower. So where we sit now is we do have enough capacity with our 2 water towers, and I'd hate to put up another water tower and it'd be too big, and then that water's just stagnant, so it's really, it all drives off the growth of
I
the
think to
town.
Adam's point, though, it is good to have our strategic thought included.
Yeah.
Doesn't always mean that will transpire.
Yep.
Actions will make it happen or not, and if it's a 5-year plan, it could change to be a 7-year plan.
Yeah,
right?
no, absolutely.
But I do like the idea that it's in the back of mind, we're thinking about how to plan for it, how to think about other activities. Are there things that need to be prioritized to get done ahead of that?
Yep.
Couple questions. I know it might be on the early side, but in comparison to the towers we have now, would it be similar size, like larger, smaller?
Without getting into the engineering and the studies on it, I wouldn't say it's going to be any bigger. I would say it's probably going to be right around that 1 million gallon, which is the same size as Hillcrest. I don't think we'd go any smaller than 1 million gallons.
Yeah, the ultimate answer depends on the demands of the area.
How big is the Simpson one?
750,000.
Okay, I thought it was a lot smaller.
Nope. Yeah. So the DNR rules is you have to have at least a day's capacity in your towers, your average consumption. So our average, we're about 1.4 million a day. So with the 2 towers, we're sitting at 1.75. So we have it there, but again, if the town decides to grow or a big industrial comes in, then we'd have to do something.
I don't wanna tell you how to do this, but I know your hesitation maybe is, okay, you don't have any idea which year this is gonna fall in. So another suggestion for you is just add a note at the bottom, like, okay, here's another future consideration or something like that.
Okay.
Just add a note of, another well, another tower, and what the potential price tag may be, even a range of what the price tag may be
Okay.
would be helpful.
If we could predict.
Yeah.
Anything else before we move on?
I'll try not to interrupt you.
So then down to water mains. So there is a dollar amount budgeted for city projects. At this point in time, we have no word if they're doing anything. So that's why that dollar amount is in there. I'm not for sure.
Did this list come from them?
You mean the North
or-
K one, or?
Nope. So the city
The
projects at the
100,000.
very top for the 100,000.
Oh, where?
It should be bolded.
Yeah.
That 100,000 right there.
Yeah, just kind of generic.
Oh, thank you. Got it.
Have we gotten any input from their planning at all?
We've got their most likely projects, and again, highly speculative. They're nowhere near what.
They aren't as far along with their process as we are.
Yeah. The projects that are on the top of their list would not be anything that would line up for us. They're projects where stuff is in the parking that wouldn't be our, that we haven't had water main breaks on. So they wouldn't, the ones they're planning on and likely to do wouldn't require or need IMU coordination with. Their they're not nearly as close as we are. They're really gonna start having those discussions in January. So we threw in some money, and that this truly is a just in case. We have our own projects in there and didn't want a surprise city project to derail anything that we have. So we're committing the money. If I was a betting man, we don't end up spending that if the city goes through as the best available
As our
information.
history has been.
Yeah.
Kudos to you guys for being able to do that before end of year. I mean, on the plan.
And then the next, just other water main project there, the North K, Clinton to Euclid, and then the 1300 block of West Detroit would be the next water main project, and then,
Are they just in the worst shape, or?
yeah, I hate talking about that one because it's been good to us, but it's one of, it's one of the, more common ones that we do have breaks on, so. And then lastly, down there for that 150,000, that's just dead end water mains and service transfers where we have dual mains running, or it kind of falls to like for the East Third Main project that we just did. It's just a one block chunk, so if monies work out, then we have it there to squeeze a smaller project in.
Has there been any more talk about the lead service lines and replacing those? So, just as a backstory, back in Des Moines, and I think it's because of the designated area that we're in, I think the Des Moines Water Works is getting, I assume they're getting federal money, and like a lot of the houses that Drake owns, we're getting all of our water mains into the houses that Drake owns replaced for free.
And you said that it's
through
through
Des
the
Moines Water Works.
SRF loan, I think.
Yeah, it's not a loan, Drake doesn't have to pay a dime. And it's all the houses in this designated area that I assume is like some sort of disadvantaged area that Drake happens to be in.
Is it federal grant or is it
I assume it's a federal grant, but I don't know that for sure.
infrastructure grants maybe?
I'm nearly certain Des Moines Water Works is not footing the bill for this, so I assume they're getting money from somewhere.
Yeah, I looked into, I thought it was a state revolving fund a little bit.
Or maybe it is state, yeah.
I thought it was state revolving fund.
Okay.
I haven't dug too much into it. We're pretty fortunate. So I sent out a little over 100 letters. Out of those 100, very few have responded back, but I'm pretty confident that they're not lead, just the age that they were built, and some of those water mains have been replaced. So as of now, we only have 3 lead lines, or possible lead lines that we know
Really?
of. Yep.
Who did you send the letters to?
To the homeowners that we don't have any
Homeowners.
records on yet.
Okay.
And that's kind of who we're really hitting our meter replacement on too, is because out of those 100, I think I had maybe 10 reach out to schedule appointments. So we're calling those homeowners and trying to get into those houses and just swapping the meter out while we're there, as well as checking the service line material.
So their response doesn't mean it's not lead, it's just you haven't heard from them.
Yes.
Okay.
So then the big push to that will be is by 2027 we have to have a plan in place for the lead service lines that we know. So that'll be something that we could talk about strategic planning wise, how aggressive or if we're gonna offer something or how we're gonna go about this. But the ultimate deadline is 2037 that they have to be out of the system.
But so have you looked into that state program at all?
I didn't, because it said what I could find was more of your not low density, but the
We didn't qualify, is what you're saying.
yeah.
Yeah, we see that.
Or would IAMU be able to help you track that down?
That's something, yeah.
They have those. The ones I've seen are income-based or area income-based and geographic,
Yeah.
monetary, and in general, as soon as you see the income-based, Indianola kind of gets booted out there because I think our median income is like $15,000 a year more than
Yeah.
So
Des Moines
is it the
area.
houses that Drake owned for students, or do you have, like rental properties otherwise?
It's rental properties, but just the area that those are in, it probably
location.
would qualify, yeah.
Is there any way we can watch those houses, and if they sell, put any requirements on that, or is that like way outside of something we can do?
I mean, it's something we could do, but a lot of times we don't know, what houses are on the market, or if it's kind of behind closed doors or sell by owner. We don't know all that stuff, so it'd be kind of hard to track it that way, I guess.
And it really is a house by house kind of scenario, it's not like a
Yeah.
block kind of thing.
We were saying we know of 3, right?
3 that are lead positive, yeah.
Total in the whole town.
Yeah.
So that's where I was just saying, is it like, can we watch those 3 houses, and
Oh.
can we tie something onto those and be like, if those go up for sale or something, that we put some sort of like clause in there? And I don't know if you actually
I
can
don't know if
do
you
that,
probably
or
could put a lien, is it some sort of a lien or something or
something like that, yeah, I don't know if we
I
can
don't know if we
or
could do a
not,
lien, but we could probably do like a disclosure through the realtor. And I haven't followed up with this lately. It was last year, the year before, that they were gonna start mandating that, before you sold your house, you had to have your service line material disclosed. And I will check into that. I have not followed up on that, but I know that was on the radar.
I don't, well, we just bought a house this summer, I don't think that was on the list.
I know we bought one last year in September and it wasn't, so I'll look more into that.
I just figure it's something that a lot of times that stuff gets then thrown into the cost of the sale, and it's just resolved at that point, so. Alright,
Then lastly is water meters. So we did go, we were budgeting about 200,000 a year for those. With the new AMI, the water side alone, there's about 3,000 meters that have to be switched out. Talking with the company that we've been kind of working with on this, they would do the meter swaps at $75 a meter. So that's why the water meter side of that went up a little bit, just because that's trying to get 1,000 meters in 3 years, or 3,000 meters in. So that would be 1,000 meters per year, and I personally think it would be the route to go. Just trying to get in, and like I said, doing 1,000 water meters a year is a lot. So with that too, we said we would send all the mailers out. They would do all the scheduling, all the bulk transfer of the meter numbers, ERT numbers, and stuff like that. And then they would send an Excel sheet back to us, and then we could get it to Alicia for billing purposes. And that 530,000 isn't just all meters either. That's some of the head end to get the AMI up and going.
So, Mike, this kind of relates to you too, because you have to do the same thing, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Is there a way to combine resources here? Because you guys have to go into all these houses too, don't you?
Ours are all on the outside,
Okay.
so it makes it fairly, I wouldn't say easy, but we'll run into issues as well. We're gonna find issues with homeowners, meter sockets that are broke or anything like that, we're gonna have to stop and tell the homeowners that they're gonna have to fix it before we can move forward.
Yeah.
Which will be, that'll be
Unpleasant.
unpleasant, yeah, we'll have several of those that we'll have to deal with, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, instead of taking 20 minutes, 30 minutes, changing a meter is 20 seconds. Like, you can drive up there, pull it out, push it in,
On the electric side.
on the electric side, yeah, much lower requirements. I mean, the longest time they do is wait to see if anybody's home, to pull the meter.
So, Mike, on your side, would your staff do it instead of hiring somebody like?
Yeah, that's what we're talking about, doing it internally, have our own staff try to do that. We're gonna try to anyway, with our metering staff.
And the electric meters their service life is a fraction of the water meters anyway, so, I mean, in a normal year, the electric department's doing 600, 700 meters in a normal year to keep up with a 10-year cycle. This would be moving up, to 1,000, so that's not, by no means is it no extra effort, but I do think that's something that, is accomplishable.
They normally are replaced about every 10 years, the electric ones.
Yep.
The one thing I will, not to jump out of order, but if we're talking about it a little bit, but on the electrical side, the electrical meters will all have a remote disconnect on them. So that gives us the opportunity to not have to roll trucks as much. If we have to, somebody moves out and they want the power shut off, we don't have to roll it. Alicia and her staff can do that remotely and turn it back on. So there's definitely some advantages that'll come with it.
So, just thinking through, do we have any need for additional FT, full-time employees? I don't see anything on here for that, but just thinking through that if we're paying $530,000 and we need a new employee in like 2 years or something, like, is there a way to pull someone in early to learn and perform some of this stuff, save us some money rather than pay the $75 per person, and get some experience in the person to do this and save some money as well?
Yes, another full-time employee will be needed.
We have that in your O&M budget. We had it for this year, and we also have it in for next year too, just because of, what the DNR may require and.
So, but going back to the meter side of it, a lot of things at times that we run into is people work. So we work 7 to 3:30. So we're trying to catch somebody home. They might home till 5 o'clock or weekends. And a lot of times we don't try to schedule meters on the weekends just because we only have one guy working anyways. And then God forbid something happens, and you're scrambling on the weekends. So that way, if we could contract this out to an outside firm, they're solely responsible
It
for.
almost feels more like busy work, and I don't mean any disregard, but it's like scheduling, getting somebody at home, getting into the home. I mean, it just feels like there's just a lot of kind of stuff that, why would we need somebody to learn that?
Well, it's more of like there will be some experience that comes from that or something. It's just a thought. It doesn't. I get what you're saying.
It's a good question.
But
It just feels like this might not be the place that's really the best option for us.
Yeah, like I said, the company, like I said, we would just have to mail the mailer, but they would do all the scheduling, all the data input. They take care of all that, which
And I only
it might
say
not
that
sound like a lot, but I mean, it does get pretty time consuming.
Mid-American changed our gas meters this summer, and I only want to say, just make sure we communicate, because they caused all kinds of havoc for being in the neighborhood and people calling out, who are these people? But it did feel, and that was outside, they didn't even have to come in the house. And it just felt like they were constantly in the neighborhood, going to doors. It's just a lot of time spent that maybe was the best use of time.
no, and I agree with the best use of time. I'm just trying to think through 530,000.
I think that's a great question.
3-4
Yeah.
people.
This may
The
not-
vast majority is actual cost of the meters.
Yeah.
In that cost of meter, $450, $500 for the meter, and then $75 for the installation is kind of.
So yeah, I guess that'd be about 75,000.
And like that's,
So
and
that's
that
different.
I don't have the breakdown with me, but that 530,000 is not just water meters. That's to get the repeaters, the collectors, the software here, and all that stuff. And that includes some of the subscriptions, and so it's kind of a mix of everything. It's not just water meters.
Fair enough. Just.
For consideration.
Yeah.
And then lastly, down there, you see just the water meter maintenance, which we did drop down to 100,000. That's for any new construction or just meter replacement that that needs to be done. That's outside of the scope for AMI. And that's all I have, unless there's any other questions.
On water, we can move on to, no other questions? Mike? take
Yeah.
her away.
So we'll start with vehicles as well. We're looking at replacing a couple SUVs, pickups here this next year. The biggest one will be the line truck. We've been pushing that off, and the digger truck, we've been pushing those off. Number one, if you remember, it wasn't very long ago, we were talking about lead times. They were talking 7 years out for these things for a little while. They're getting down to where they're within a year or two of getting them. So that pickup that you purchased this evening, that's gonna replace one of these that were bucket trucks that we've been using, the smaller one. So we'll get it, we'll be able to keep it back, won't put the wear and tear on it, that truck will last a lot longer. And then the digger truck, the one that we're looking at replacing is a 1997. It's served us well, but it's probably time to upgrade it. And then also, we're just
That brings up a question. I thought about bringing this up before, but because you stated that, I will bring this up. And I might be just getting too detailed here, but so one of the questions I always have is that question always comes up, like whenever you guys wanna replace a truck, is the question always comes up of, okay, well, how old is the one that you're replacing? And generally the answer is exactly something like that. And maybe I'm going overboard here, but my suggestion would be, and you can tell me if this is going overboard, I'm fine with that, if you wanna tell me that. But especially for the vehicles and equipment that you guys have, just listing everything out that you have and listing, okay, when it was purchased and what the expected life is, to get just some idea of, okay, what's reasonable for this, and just laying that out. Not that I don't trust you guys as to when it needs to be replaced, but just having some idea of, I know what you have listed here is not all the vehicles that you have.
right.
And so just helping us have an understanding of,
So you just want an inventory of their fleet and what their lifespan should be?
yeah, somewhat. Not that I'm looking to inventory and know everything that you got, but I'm just trying to get a bigger sense of the big picture of what are all the vehicles that you have.
That to me is an inventory.
Yeah.
And I can provide you that. We keep an inventory on hand all the time. We have a spreadsheet that shows every vehicle that we have. And it shows when we purchased it and all the other details. We haven't gone to the point of life expectancy on them, because like, used to be our bucket trucks, we'd get maybe 10 years out of them, and then we had to change them because we were just using them so much. And as things have shifted, our timelines have shifted a little bit on them, on the different equipment. It's kind of like our bull rig right now. We're hoping 10 years, but the wear and tear we put on them, maybe 6 or 7 years, and we gotta change it out type of deal. But
Is that going too, am I going too far?
I think
would that be useful?
what I'm understanding you saying is we're just trying to understand what might be coming in the budget.
Yeah.
So in 2 years, we might have to replace 3 vehicles, and I don't think that's unreasonable.
yeah, and
I don't know, I think you probably already have it, is my point.
Yeah, we certainly got, Chris has got a lot of that. Now, it's not have modified stuff, it's more kind of accounting useful lives, which we generally try to reflect, best expectations at the time.
Because you're probably not
You know,
paying
but
depreciation.
like that truck would be on
that's not
15,
gonna be
not
precise.
this last
Yeah.
one.
that truck would have been a 15-year truck, and it's obviously beyond that, but you can kind of, we at least have that and the accumulated depreciation to kind of let you know where we are in that.
But that's
life cycle.
useful to know, okay, accounting wise, we said it was 15 years, and it's
sure.
28 or whatever.
That might be
Yeah.
something that we could just spend a few minutes on in our strategy session next summer. If you just talk a little bit about, here's the equipment we have, here's what we're thinking we're gonna need to think about replacing over the course of the next few years. That might help fill in some of the blanks that you're thinking through over there, Adam.
Yep, we can do that.
That applies to the other two guys also.
We're making notes.
So to make sure they weren't off the,
Nope, I think it'd be just fine to go over all that. And the same thing with it's going back to, dump truck. I know we've got one on order, we just bought one to add that third one, but we also have one in the budget for next year to replace a 2009 dump truck it's just time to replace this unit. Otherwise, any other questions on vehicles, equipment?
I think it's worth just saying in general, I mean, to take a dump truck 16 years, I mean, that's something I think you guys in your own self should take pride in, the fact that you take care of your guys' stuff so well that it does last that long, so it's just something I just kind of want to throw that out there, I mean,
There's a lot of credit goes to my staff. I mean, they take the pride, they're the ones that definitely take pride in it, and if something needs fixed, I'm fortunate that I've got several on staff that can fix a lot of that stuff without centering it off, so,
That
we're
is
kind of hitting
amazing.
that time of year where we'll do a lot of that maintenance in-house and trying to fix some stuff, so kudos to them. We'll go on to the turbine substation, specialized equipment. As we know, this budget, has been kind of blowing out of the water the last year or so. So we've kind of tried just to say this is what our normal budget is. We're doing that testing this week. Hopefully things will come out well. We may have to come back and modify. There's like the stack. We want to replace the stack on turbine 8 and maybe modify 7. And we've got some rough numbers, what that stuff would cost. But we need to make sure everything's good before we start spending a ton of money on it. So there may be some more to come on that side of it, but just to make sure everything's good to go on that. There's a couple of lines, the next two lines, of course, the East Iowa substation, which we've got the ground, noted that on there to the right, that we purchased that, and we're looking at doing that next 5 to 10 years with today's money, about 14.5 million for that substation. And then also we added in that East Iowa.
Going back to my comment about the wells and
Yep.
having that note, what you just said at the bottom would be helpful to me. What would you say, 14?
Yeah, I don't know I guess I didn't really.
Did it get cut off
Scroll
there?
over.
Yeah.
the right.
If you
Yeah.
scroll to the right, I think it has 14.5.
Oh, it does, okay, it just got cut off on my screen. Yes, thank you.
Yep. But I'll,
I feel like we had to make it bigger, so it's
Yeah.
big.
So much to put on.
I brought my glasses just for this meeting. I normally don't, but so I could see them.
You can zoom in.
But it
Want to see
still
everything
cuts
at
out.
once.
but there is not on the next one a dollar amount, because we just did add that in the East Iowa storage facility, which is also go on that property. I don't know exactly how big that facility would be right now or anything, but we're kind of putting it as a placeholder out there that when we do that whole project, we'll look at adding some more space, because when you get to see the sheet that we got all this equipment, you're like, how do you put that all in where you got? We definitely are outgrowing that space.
Will we have to do anything with zoning out there? Are we
Don't-
zoned appropriately?
I think we're zoned appropriately, yeah.
Should probably make sure before you start building.
What's that?
Probably make sure before you start building.
No, yeah, for sure. for
It's-
sure. I'm
it's
pretty sure
industrial
It's
and-
industrial. Yeah, we looked at that when we purchased it. It
When
was
you bought
still,
it.
yep. Yep. The next one's, this kind of one of those things with the turbines. We got a CO2 system out there. We've pushed it out there a little bit. It works right now. The problem is if it quits working, we can't find parts going forward on the fire suppression system. So we've got it earmarked out there. We've got some money down the road to try to replace that at some point. It's a significant, it's $200,000, a bit about $100,000 per unit. Of course, we got the East Iowa Circuit Breaker project we've been talking about. We'll be doing that on the 29th, getting that rolling again. Turbine 7 oil replacement, that'll be kind of what we did on 8, where we'll come in, we'll filter the oil that's in there to make sure we get any contaminants that's in the system out, and put new oil in that. Thank goodness our other oil changes don't cost that kind of money. On regular, it's a significant amount.
1,900 gallons?
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot of totes. Fuel tank inspections, that's just an annual, or every 5-year deal we do. SCADA controls, 2018 was when we installed the last one, so we're just kind of hitting that point where we're going to have to update all our software and hardware on that. We might be looking at a different vendor during that process, which we had we went to an open access just for that, so it leaves us a few more options going forward.
Does that technology change all that often?
I wouldn't say, the biggest problem we've had is since we've gone with the vendor we've had, they've been sold twice.
Which is not
And it was kind of a family-owned deal when we went to them, and now it's, we started looking about a year ago already at, had been bringing in vendors just to see what's out there. I can tell you one of the other bigger municipals in the state was also with their current vendor we are, but I think they're going away from them as well.
Is this the system that's located at the old building over here?
So that's where our SCADA used to be housed. We do have some controls over there, but we're mainly out at our East Iowa facility.
Oh,
is
so
where
you
we
have
keep.
moved that already?
Yeah,
Okay.
we have some our backup and stuff. We have those in other locations as well for if something goes south.
So if we moved everything out of that building?
We can't yet until the 4 kV 4160 system. We get rid of it.
Oh, okay.
Once it goes away, then we can. So unfortunately, that's going to be a couple more days.
Like in years?
Yeah, definitely years.
Yeah.
That is, the 4160 system, as we start undergrounding and doing uncrowding, those will be the areas that we target first, and so the quicker that undergrounding goes, the more load we can take off there, the sooner we can get rid of that.
And then our substation batteries, those are just standard, we get about 20 years out of a set of batteries at each location. So those are just ones that
Sure, I
are
got
up.
20 years on it.
Yeah. Substation inspections, we've got that in there where we're gonna try and implement that, maybe not with the substations as much as we're gonna look at replacing, but you're looking at the west side sub out by the Catholic Church on R63. That thing was built in, it's 20 years old. And it's hard to believe that it's already that old. They just put it in brand new the other day, but yeah. So it's that type of deal, just kind of go through them and see what things we need to maybe put in our capital budgets going forward or whatever to maintain them. The next one's a dandy plant demo. We kind of just talked about that a little bit, but at what point do we get the old engines out of there? I can tell you, like right now, we currently are struggling with the boiler that heats the piping in there. That boiler's old, we can't keep it lit right now. It's just, yeah, it's an unlimited, unknown amount of money to go in there to tear that down, and then you've got the, kind of, we talked in the strategic planning, it's, where do you stop with the building? Do you stop at the wall, do you take the whole thing, do you, what's the right thing to do with that?
Can I back us up just a minute?
Yep.
For your substations, I know this is a hot button for Mike. The security kind of around those areas, do we need to think about any of that?
Yeah, we've been working, talked to Doug here a while back, talking about adding some more cameras at some of our other facilities as well. Doesn't necessarily keep them from getting in, but we can at least track down
Okay.
where they're going.
And is that anywhere in here with your dog?
It's in our O&M.
O&M?
Yep.
Electrified fence.
And then we just,
liability then.
we got some,
Put up signs.
painting of the fuel tanks and turbine painting. We've got that out there a little bit. We did talk about turbine painting, about maybe trying to have our staff do that a little bit in-house internally, just because you can't go up there with a sandblaster and sandblast and get sand and run it through a turbine. So a lot of that's got to be handwork anyway. So one of those deals that take a couple weeks here or there and do some painting internally or whatever. We're going to investigate it, see if that'll work. Throwing it out there. Any question on turbines, substations? Customer paid material, that's just pretty much an in and out. That's we just earmark 100,000 every year. Depends on what we get for projects. Lately, last several years, we blow that out of the water with the amount of projects that we do. It's pretty much money in, money out. Just have to capitalize on it. Transmission facilities.
So just a question, do we
Yep.
budget revenue then to offset that?
Yes, we do, because we bill out the project cost to the developer.
Developer,
Yeah,
right.
so
Yep.
then they pay that.
And you said we've been blowing that out of the water, so should we increase both the revenue?
It just
and the-
depends on every year on how many, 100,000 overall on an average, I think is a really good number,
Okay.
for now.
Okay.
Transmission facilities, this is where we're doing anything on the transmission line, whether it be maintenance of right of way, or changing out poles. There's just a small escalator in there, you just take care of, cost of materials and labor. Project 700s, we've left that in there. That's just still got that program where people can go from overhead to underground. If it's out of code, we'll put money towards that project, up to $700 towards that project. Line construction, we're capitalizing the crews, leaders. We did that this year for the first time, and it worked really well. So we're gonna continue capitalizing on those as we're doing the underground. Again, we got the big ticket item there is the electric conversion plan. I will say, this year, in the last few months, really hit home to me how nice it is to have the flexibility with that. We were planning on going to First Street, right away, as soon as we got off the square. Well, then about the time we were getting ready to do that, that's when Scott Felton fell apart on me. We needed to go up there. The good news is it's stuff we needed to do. It's still all part of the big project. We were able to not say, well, we could pay a contractor to do this over here. We were able to just take our crew, and 48 hours later after the locate, we're moving to a different location. So definitely beneficial to be able to still have those funds there and still heading for the same goal that we need to overall. Street light replacement, the major one is over. We just got a few more. Kind of the key thing I want to work on is around the square, the globe ones. We may try to retrofit those to some kind of an LED light to get rid of the high-pressure sodiums.
How many are left of those?
Oh, up around the square, I'd have to look at my spreadsheet and see. It's not very many of them anymore. We've got that multiplier too, up there, 150 watt. I'd have to look again. It's very few.
Minimal.
It's minimal what we've got out there of those. Building maintenance, again, this is where we've done some additional work out around the 1300 East Iowa. Try to do some more improvements as we go, keep that building going. Computer software. And then again, the other big ticket item that got added on this year was the radio meters we kind of talked about as well. We've been, more to come on that. We've met with several vendors and talked to several other utilities that have used these vendors, and just trying to pull in as much information as we can at this time. Any other questions?
Mike, you're doing it over 3 years also.
Yep, we're doing it over a 3-year period. All of ours.
But you got more meters, don't you?
What's that?
Do you have
I've
more
got,
meters?
well, we're gonna, to make ours work and make the system more robust so it heals itself together, because the system will be collectors, which we got Kurt involved in this now, because we're gonna use the fiber, which one of the key things we originally had planned on using with the electric is having that fiber available to back all that information back here. But yeah, we definitely have a few more meters.
How many meters total do you have?
About
roughly?
7,300.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, the tactic there is a little bit different in that those kind of create a mesh network to help backhaul information. we do need about the first year to, or in an area where we wanna put a recovery unit, you need about 30% of the houses covered in order to effectively make it work, so it,
Well, and the other key thing is, right now, is we wanna get it all converted over in a short amount of time, because it's gonna make it more difficult for Alicia and her staff, because if we're running two systems, we wanna try and get it done as quickly as we can.
Yeah, so not a ton of different stuff on mine. Again, I always remind you guys every year that on the tech side of things, the ISP side of things, we can see pretty good in the future, a year or so out, and maybe 2 years, but after that, it gets pretty murky, things change pretty quick, so. But really not a lot of changes from last year. I mean, the only, probably the big things you're noticing is, you know, we've dumped out the 28E capital to CFU, the over the air channels, over on the water tower, and funneled all those dollars back into the IPTV equipment, so we'll be buying new set-top boxes with the new system and rolling out those, so we just kind of move those dollars around, so.
What will we do with the old equipment?
Yeah, the old equipment just gets recycled, unfortunately, so there's just no value in it anymore, so, yeah. Customer prem equipment, again, we just kind of put that on an escalator every year. This is the ONTs going into the houses, latest, greatest sort of stuff. I've got some good news on that. I'll share a little bit later on some reduced costs. Core network equipment, you know, we're sitting really good right now on OLTs. XGS stuff is in place. There's dollars in there every year to buy another card, but the XGS density is better than the GPON was. So instead of doing 32 splits, we can put 64 customers on. So fewer cards, they're a little more expensive, but less shelves in the CO, less power, stuff like that, less cooling and stuff. So all good stuff. Speaking of cooling, we do have some dollars budgeted here starting next year to get one of the AC units replaced in the CO. That's a dual system, so my hope was to replace one of those in 27, another one in 28. Out in 3031, I've got some dollars out there for a router refresh. I don't know if we'll need it by then or not, but we'll at least start throwing it out there, and if we need to shove it down to the right, we can continue to do that. So. Building maintenance, I was hoping to get the POP building patched up this year, and once we got a couple quotes and people looked at it, it really needs a full replacement. The big AC unit up there needs to come off and stuff as well. So put a little more money into that next year, and we'll do that next year, next summer to get that all replaced. So the roof that's up there, nobody could really get a real great timestamp on, but it's been up there for a long time, so it's time.
Is that the building next to West Hill?
Yeah, just north of us, yeah, exactly, so. Vehicles for me, we've got one more engineering vehicle I would like to replace next year for that, replace that 2012 Ford Escape. Probably another like little unit like we bought earlier this year. And then looking out the next 4 years, half tons will be about 10 years old, so we'll start to look at replacing those, so. General equipment, we keep taking a look at a vac. We like to get a small vac so we don't have to keep borrowing Justin and Mike's really big one, which we don't need anything quite that burly. So we've got that back in the budget for 27. We're also looking maybe a small plow or a mini excavator in 28. We'd like to start doing some more of that stuff in-house if we can, and if the time would allow. Again, we keep thinking that we're going to get more and more time that we could get a tech or two out there to work on these things, but right now we're still busy with installs. Like I said, I've got 4 guys that are booked up for the next 4 weeks, so we'll take a look at that again. That may move down to 28, 29, 29,
Are those all
30,
net
but
new customers?
a lot of them are new customers, and then I'm just always, I tell you this every year, I'm amazed at the amount of churn that people just move a lot, which I don't understand, because I don't want to ever move. I don't have to. But they do. So, you know, you get somebody coming out, somebody coming back in, and, you know, we still go out and do that. Equipment upgrades, things like that. And then trouble tickets. Again, we're a little bit different than the water and electric. I mean, we go all the way inside the house and support that equipment in there, too. So we also do trouble tickets and stuff like that, so. Outside plant improvements, we did move a little money around this year. That was the NOFA dollars. We were hoping to spend last year, didn't get them spent, so they'll get spent in this fiscal year. Finish up that NOFA 7 South project. I left $300,000 in for 27. I've got some other little rural areas I would like to pursue. We'll see how that goes, and then we just got 150 in there for the rest of them, but.
You just gotta fund that on your own then with internal dollars.
Yeah, exactly. That would be my hope, so, yeah, so. About, again, last time we put fiber in the ground, assuming we underground everything, it's about $50,000 a mile, so. But that would give us a couple miles, gives us a couple different areas that I've got some pretty good density in, so.
Remind me what the NOFA was?
That was the state dollars to help expand to the rural areas, so.
Thank you.
So. And then, other than that, just your fiber drop materials, we keep reducing that every year. We're not putting in as many new installs, but they're still going in the ground. And again, I would hope that maybe one day we could do those ourselves, but we're not at that point yet, so.
That's not a lot of money, but licenses and subscriptions at the top,
Yep,
how come that's capital and not?
I will defer to Chris on that, and she can probably explain better than I could, so, but.
Was it a couple of years ago during audit time, Robert had alluded to that we might need to capitalize those, so we set that up in the capital budget. But at this point, there's a threshold, I think, or something that we are just under, so we aren't having to actually capitalize those, but we still have them in the capital budget. We could easily move them to the O&M budget. But
Why would they get to a threshold that you have to capitalize them?
We did, our capital, our specific capitalization policy is at $5,000. Items greater than.
But why are licenses, subscriptions, I mean, those are not an asset. Aren't these like just a year-long license type thing?
Some of them are more than that. I think in a lot of these, that Calix stuff,
They more
This-
2 to 3 year
that's a
contracts.
or whatever
I think they're all kind of
that-
3-year. I want to say 3 years, probably the most common one. We might have some that are 5.
Right,
Oh, okay,
Sabita, that's the acronym.
okay. So even though it's 3 years, it's less
Subscription-based
than
information
5,000, you're just,
yeah.
Yeah,
you're just expensing it.
just expensing it.
Okay, got it.
Questions?
Chris?
Anything else?
Nope, I think that's all we have for budget. Like I said, work is undergoing on the O&M.
Yeah. Is there anything that you need to budget for like this building?
I was gonna ask her at the administration side of the house, any equipment, phones,
Yeah.
any of that kind of stuff.
We took out a lot of the stuff. I don't know if you guys know, we did get all the windows done. You probably can't see it in this room, but
I heard. People have commented as they were driving by.
that did come in quite a bit less. That was kind of a multi-year plan. That was some of the big things we have taken, since over the last 5 years, we've done the gutters, done the windows, done tuck pointing. A lot of, we did put in new HVAC systems. A lot of that core equipment has been replaced in the last 5 years. So we're sitting in pretty good shape. The only other equipment, that we had, AV style equipment, that stuff tends to be, once it's in place, if we need to get a new TV or improve it, doesn't reach those capital thresholds. Likewise, we don't.
I
We have
wonder if you need to throw in like $10,000 for some of that stuff for this building. $5,000.
Probably wouldn't hurt
Just
just
have
to
a
have
placeholder,
it in
yeah.
case.
We have some dollars in maintenance, there's a maintenance budget we have that stuff mostly falls out there.
Okay.
Still got to take all the plastic off this now that I see.
I didn't know, so we had TV back there. Well, the poor plywood didn't work well.
Yeah, we'll go on by.
Would it?
Did you hang that?
Me? No. I would have pre-drilled. All right, anything else?
No, so work is ongoing, with the capitals. We'll take some of these improvements, and incorporate them into the more official CIP that you'll see when we present that O&M and combined, budget upcoming. That'll, likely be that first meeting in February where you see everything all together.
This is a lot of good work, guys. I know you guys put a lot of work into this, and I appreciate it.
I really meant it when I said it's impressive that you have it all by the end of the year, considering others aren't, so, nice job.
No, absolutely, and every year it does, I mean, everyone here, they know their departments frontwards and backwards, and, you know, they have recommendations. As I'm working with them, it's just kind of a little bit of a timing slide to, you know, taking that financial, smooth it out, take out some of the lumps, but, you know, so in general, they know what's needed, and, I think I've said that before, they spend it like it's their own money, so as everybody out there is paying attention or looking, and do we need this, these guys look for every option not to spend money, and so when they bring something forward, rest assured, it is the best use of our dollars, and I appreciate that out of all of them.
All right, combined electric, water, and communications informational items.
So first of all, hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving. We had a couple days short since our last meeting. I participated in the interviews for the new police chief. A lot of great candidates. I don't know if anybody was out there for some of those final.
When are they making that decision?
I don't know if I can confirm the date. I don't know that. By the end of the year.
I read it in an article, I just couldn't remember what.
Yeah, I didn't see that. They have some expectations. It might be a little bit earlier than that, but I think that largely depends on who they pick and what those arrangements are taking. But 3 great candidates. So I mean, the good news is it's going to be a tough decision, and I'm glad it's not mine. But Indianola PD's in good shape because you know, yeah, definitely 3 great candidates. We also had interviews for our IMU finance director, replacing somebody that's retiring. Those went well. We started second interviews, and hopefully we'll have an offer out to somebody by the end of the week.
Have you had a good candidate pool?
Yes. Yep.
How many did you interview?
We did. I think we had 6 people that we invited for interviews. 4 of them showed up. We narrowed that down to 2 that we're bringing in for final interviews.
And the focus on finance first.
Yeah. Both the individuals highly qualified, both CPAs. I'll share some details if you want.
No need to. I just was interested in your kind of philosophy.
Yeah. It definitely was a financial person first, and I'm excited with the pool that we got. I don't know how many applications we got in total, but
I think there were about 32. I think that we got.
Wow, 32 apps.
yeah. So I mean, the good news or bad news, we're able to be picky on those top candidates. So all good, and staff will be meeting with them. We'll get an offer out, and hopefully next week we'll have an answer on some great news for you guys.
Awesome.
We've been busy working on the CIP for the departments, and just as a reminder, on the 19th at 2 p.m. out at the water plant, we're going to have our solar commissioning. We're planning on having it outside. That might get modified at the last minute if the weather looks completely miserable, but we'll have hot chocolate there, powered by solar energy.
I thought you were going to say powered by something else.
But we may end up moving it won't be quite as fun if we end up moving it inside, but we're realistic that weather could slow the attendance, and plan B is nearby inside. We'll look at the solar field from the windows.
We'll just
We don't mind seeing Justin's facilities out there.
Can't think of the name, but are the solar folks gonna be there that day?
Yeah, Sand Hills, Sand Hills is gonna be there, Raphael specifically, even kind of confirmed, this afternoon that he's gonna be there. Invitations went out to council, you guys, the trustees, and, Chamber has forwarded, on invitations. So I hope there'll be, weather will play a role, yeah, and Facebook. Weather will play a role, in attendance, I'm sure, but regardless if people show up or not, very excited about this project and, can't wait to turn it on.
We talked last time about potentially reaching out to the high school for STEM groups, or did we do that?
Yeah, yep, they were included on that invitation, and even, Tara from high school was out there for, the PD meetings, and, she, indicated she's passing that along to a couple of people.
Awesome.
Didn't know if there would be any attendance out of there, but, school and a lot of their staff are excited about this happening as well.
Then
Other
you had the
business?
12:29 meeting at 2, just make sure you saw that. So,
Other business? No? Alright. So with that, we'll move into closed session for telecom, marketing, and pricing. Need a first and second motion to enter into closed session in accordance with with Iowa Code Section 388.91 to discuss marketing and pricing strategies and proprietary information of the telecommunications division whose competitive position will be harmed by the public disclosure is not required of potential or actual competitors, and no public purposes served by such disclosure.
So moved.
Second.
So Greg,
Yes.
White,
yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Voights,
Yes.
Craven,
Yes.
we are in closed